Today, we're going to be talking about the top 5 entry-level cybersecurity jobs in 2025. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Techtual Chatter. For those of you who don't know me, I am HD. I am a cybersecurity professional. I have over a decade of experience, and I also am a cybersecurity career coach. Whether you're on Reddit, X, Facebook, LinkedIn for sure, you're always seeing this notion about the job market is cooked and this and that. But I will tell you, in Q2, companies are still hiring. And today we're going to talk about some of those jobs that they're hiring for at the entry level point. Now, I want to put a quick disclaimer on here. What I consider to be entry level is 0 to 2 years, sometimes 0 to 3, and then sometimes in the cybersecurity field, you'll see 3 to 5 years sometimes to be entry level. So it can vary. So I will say most of the time, a lot of people with prior IT experience will fare better for some of these low level roles, but it is possible to find these roles with no experience at all. Per Motion Recruitment, here are the top 5 sectors that are hiring for cybersecurity roles. We have the tech sector, the financial sector, healthcare, energy and utilities, and retail and e-commerce. And as an experienced professional, I can tell you that it's true. My LinkedIn is hotline blinging, and I'm always getting hit up for opportunity. Let's get into some of these positions that I was talking about. Coming in at number 1 is a tier 1 SOC analyst, and salary you could probably expect in an entry-level role like that is around like $68,000. SOC stands for Security Operations Center, and typically Tier 1 analyst is mostly going to work on a SIM most of the days. The more popular one that you guys hear about all the time. You have Splunk, QRadar, Microsoft Sentinel, Sumo Logic, Exabeam, CrowdStrike. Things are ramping up for SOC analysts. You're starting to see them become more and more popular. Yes, the scope has changed a little bit in the role, but they are still needed because there's just an onslaught of logs going into the environment every day, and somebody got to look through them. And AI is not at the point where it can replace all humans. That's just how I feel about it. And I have found entry-level Tier 1 SOC analyst role. This is coming CBiz. As a Tier 1 SOC analyst, you will play a critical role in our cybersecurity operations by receiving and performing initial triage of security alerts, incident intake, ticket updates, and reporting to cyber events. You will be responsible for maintaining ticket queues, escalating incidents to Tier 2 and Tier 3 when necessary, and proactively monitoring various channels for security threats. Here's some of your duties: security alert triage, incident management, log analysis, security documentation, threat intel, ticket queue management, escalation, dashboard monitoring, indicators of compromise. And for y'all that don't know what that is, I'll actually read this one out. Understand, identify, and research indicators of compromise to support threat detection and incident response efforts. And all that is, if it's an active known threat or attack that's out there in the wild, a lot of times the threat intel team will tell you about it. So if you see something like that, do an alert or something, that's when you need to reach out to Tier 2, Tier 3 and say, hey, look what I saw in this alert. We may need to do some threat hunting in the environment. Hotline support, which is a big one. A lot of times you're in a rotational queue where making calls to the SOC. Email security, client communication, and reporting. Now, the reason why I just read verbatim word by word to these things because it would make it long and boring, and I'm not trying to make the super long boring, so it'll be a high level overview. We can actually go in depth on stuff like this in calls. Preferred qualifications. Now, in this one, caveat, this is a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, IT, or related field, and for certs they want you to have something like Security Plus, a CISTA Plus, a GAC, or others. It's a plus. Keyword is a such as. So for me, what I would tell you, something that's not put here, is Blue Team Level 1. Blue Team Level 1 to me supersedes all those other ones because it is a practical certification. And so whereas you can just memorize those, the Blue Team Level 1 will actually prepare you for an interview like this in order to pass and shine. And you need strong understanding of cybersecurity principles and technologies, excellent problem solving and analytical skills, effective communication and interpersonal skills, ability to work in a fast-paced, high-pressure environment, willingness to work rotating shifts, including nights and weekends. Prior experience in the SOC environment is preferred. So like I said, it's preferred, but all it says is you need a college degree or equivalent, 1 year experience, proficient use of applicable technology, ability to follow technical instructions and guidelines, ability to document daily activities and system functions, demonstrate ability to communicate verbally in writing, and ability to travel as required. So you see this job is $26 an hour through $35 an hour. And I believe that's around the range that we talked about earlier. So you definitely want to go on this high end. Don't accept this for that, especially if you have to get a degree and you got the skills in your interview. Go to the high end for that. But this is definitely very much so an entry level role, and also it's possibly college degree equivalent. So there could be some stuff that you worked on where it might supersede the degree. So at least right here, they want you to have one, but it's not going to say they're going to discount you because you don't have one. But this was pretty much a simple entry-level tier 1 SOC analyst role. Job number 2, security analyst. Now, this one looks different because I always tell people security analyst is pretty vague because it can mean different things at different companies. So you could type in security analyst and you can see different types of roles that come up for it. Salary wise, we're looking at around maybe like 100K for entry level. Now, security analysts could actually be coming from a non-technical background as well, because sometimes of the things that you do is not technical. But I'm actually going to read a description of what AI generated of what they deem a security analyst does. And then I'll tell you more about my experience of working with people that's worked in security analyst roles. A security analyst works to protect an organization's systems, networks, and data from cyber threats. They monitor and analyze security alerts, investigate potential breaches, and implement measures to prevent future attacks. The role also involves conducting risk assessments, identifying vulnerabilities, ensuring compliance with security policies and regulations. Strong problem-solving skills, knowledge of cybersecurity tools, and the ability to work under pressure are key for this position. So that's what AI says about a security analyst. And I also tell you, it could vary from that. Like, you could be a security analyst and maybe you are dealing with products. So you're scoping out products for your company to use. And you're doing that. You may be doing risk assessments on that. Or maybe you are doing a lot of different like data analytics. But you're still doing security analyst work because you're analyzing the data and trying to find the trends. Like you said, it had a lot of overlap with vulnerabilities, doing risk acceptance, a lot of stuff that you'll see in GRC. And actually, we're going to take a look at a security analyst role right now. All right, so here is a security analyst role. So as our security analyst, you'll work to improve our cybersecurity program. Our network is our product, so we need someone with the right attitude, drive, experience, and skills to implement platforms and solutions. This role touches all aspects of cybersecurity, from including risk and compliance to threat and vulnerability, as well as this security analyst will have a big impact on cybersecurity at Boingo as we expand our cybersecurity program. If you are motivated, a team player with a can-do attitude, handling multiple priorities, this is the job for you. All right, let's get into responsibilities. Deploy security systems, implement, configure security systems, SIEM, EDR, NAC. I kind of already mentioned that. Optimize security tool performance, analyze and enhance configurations, enhance vulnerability handling, vulnerability scanning and detection, coordinate security tool integrations, document security engineering, partner on security enhancements. So pretty much what I already said that you could do, and that's why I said it contains a multitude of things. And this is how it differs from a GRC role in a sense. Requirements: 1+ year in information security, cybersecurity, or 3+ years in IT. So this is what I was saying, how some of these roles are entry level, but they would look for somebody to have X amount of experience in IT. However, depending on what you're doing in IT and you have a resume that speaks to some of these things that it's talking about, you probably could get away with not having 3 years of IT experience. You probably could have 1, or have projects that align with so much of the stuff that they want you to do that you could possibly bypass a lot of this stuff. And like I said, that's something we could talk about. So you need to know knowledge of networks, same certifications. I would say do not waste time on A+. Get your CCNA over Network Plus. Security Plus is cool. Experience with the security, vulnerability management, event monitoring analysis, and endpoint protection. So pretty much this is just wanting you to understand VM management, knowing about a SIEM, and knowing about EDRs. Excellent written and verbal communication skills, ability to work independently, self-motivated, strong organizational skills. Don't even worry about the CISSP or any of these things. If you want to get some, maybe get this, but the CYSA Plus, but other than that, it's cool. And of course, they want you to understand about PCI, NIST, ISO, GDPR is a plus. Like I said, even though it has this stuff, this is what HR wrote. If you came in as a candidate and spoke to like most of these things, but maybe didn't have all the years of experience, you still probably can get an interview. There's just ways around it. And I got the key to the secrets for that. Number 3, GRC Analyst. Now, recently on LinkedIn, I had a big post where I was talking about, do you believe that GRC analyst roles are non-technical, or you need to be technical to succeed, or a bit of both? But this is typically broadcasted as a role you can get into cybersecurity having no technical experience. And the reason being for that is because the different industries. Now, earlier, I referenced industries like finance and healthcare, e-commerce, and I believe another one was like energy and utilities. And some of those industries, like for example, like a healthcare, you can have a person who was non-technical, but yet they understand about high trust, they understand about HIPAA, NIST, ISO, And so they understand the parallels, and they've been the person that's had to adhere to these things while they're doing their day-to-day job. And now translating over to the cyber side, it makes a lot of sense to them. So they have transferable skills where they could do a role like this. So those are sometimes why someone can say it's non-technical. However, there are a lot of technical aspects of the job that you need to understand. And therefore, if you do have a technical background, you'll actually succeed and probably get a GRC role faster than someone who does not necessarily have any technical acumen at the present moment when they're trying to get into GRC. Now, what I saw for salary rise, I saw around 80K. It could be more. A GRC analyst is a cybersecurity professional focused on ensuring that an organization adheres to regulations, manages risk effectively, and follows governance standards. They analyze and implement policies, frameworks, and procedures to ensure compliance with industry and legal requirements. Their role includes assessing risk, creating risk mitigation strategies, conducting audits, and providing recommendations to improve security practices. They often collaborate with other teams to align business operations with regulatory and security objectives. That's a lot of the different things that they do. And anybody who's worked in an organization know that if they are very strict, that means they have a good, solid GRC team. Because if you want to be honest, a lot of the breaches that's happened now have been a lot of third-party things to where technically your company got breached because another company didn't do what they were supposed to do, and now they got access to your data, and now they're trying to get into your environment. So now they're becoming even more stricter. They're paying attention to different things that you access on a computer, what you send out, trying to make sure you're not exfilling data, whether it's on purpose or unpurposely. That's what you're about in a GRC analyst role. And now let's look at some of the duties and experience they typically want out of you doing a GRC role. The GRC analyst position requires the ability to conduct information security assessments in a complex and large organization, to conduct third-party vendor assessments, and be familiar with cloud security controls. This position requires technical knowledge, good communication, attention to detail, and organizational skills. So here you go right here. Is this also at a hospital in Houston? So here are the minimum qualifications. Knowledge of current and emerging cybersecurity research regulations, including NIST, SP 800-53, NIST SP 800-171, and the Cybersecurity Maturity Model certification. And if you don't know what CMMC is, check out my episode that I did with Fanta Marie. That's what she actually does, CMMC. And you can find out if it interests you as well. So check that episode out. Matter of fact, I'll put it right there. Knowledge of cloud security and complementing user entity controls. Prefer candidates with experience using GRC software, third-party risk management, and vendor assessments. We currently use Audit Board for our GRC tool. Any exposure to that is a plus. Experience as a sysadmin, disaster recovery planning will be beneficial for this position. Project management skills are desirable because the candidate will need to be able to prioritize and juggle many security assessments while meeting deadlines. This is a hybrid role. Now, let's see what it says you need. So here's some other requirements. This talking about what you would do. Administering tasks with the information security risk management program, including the execution of risk assessments, corrective action planning, follow-up and guidance, understanding academic, healthcare, and research business operations. So that's why I was talking about that transferable skill thing, knowing about that. Performing security compliance reviews over PHI, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Acts, FERPA, PII, Personal Identifying Information, Payment Card Industry and Data Security Standards, PCI DSS. So it's some of the stuff they want you to know about. Here goes some searches that they want you to do. You're going to see Security Plus in here a lot, CISA, CRISC, a lot of different stuff. I know this seems like it's overwhelming, but you really can cut this down. Now here, minimum education, bachelor's degree with some training in information technology security, may substitute require education with equivalent years of experience beyond the minimum experience requirement. At least 1 year of experience in information technology, security compliance, or auditing in a diverse, complex technology environment. So if you had a year of IT experience, or you just understand all this stuff, like I said, if you're coming from a non-technical background and just understand the ins and outs, so say you was working like insurance or something like that, or you were working like EHR, like kind of like you're doing some stuff with this, but you weren't doing the security portion of it, you possibly could get in here. But yeah, I think this was a perfect entry-level GRC role. I know it seemed like it's daunting because they had a lot of stuff that we read in the beginning. However, on your day-to-day, it's not going to be like that. Like, you're definitely going to have ways to sketch out and know what project is more important than the other and what should take precedence and what should. Number 4, we have what you call an associate security engineer, or you have junior security engineer, entry-level security engineer, whatever name you want to call it. It's still a security engineer. Now, for salary rise, you're looking around about 80K. And security engineers can vary too, because you could be like a platform engineer, or you could be a security engineer that's doing multiple things. So you may be integrating something like a tool like Microsoft Intune, Purview. You may be doing some vulnerability management, maybe work with some vulnerability scanners. You may be doing some coding or some scripting. And so it's a mix of different things, but pretty much those engineers are there to solve problems and make things more efficient on a security team. There are some entry-level roles in here where you possibly can get in with no experience. But for the most part, what I'm seeing now of the trend is, hey, you need some stories of how you solved some problems in the past, and that's going to propel you to getting the job. And speaking of that, recently I had a client. He came from like a sysadmin background to now he is a security engineer for a company, remote, actually making around $95K. And this was because he can go in depth about the things that he did at his previous job. That is why I'm always preaching to people when it comes to the interview process. It's cool for your theory and your knowledge that you study and your certifications, but at the end of the day, the company wants to know, how do you solve problems and what problems have you solved in order to help our organizations stay more secure? But let's look at the security engineering role right now. The Microsoft security engineer will play a pivotal role in providing technical leadership and expertise to our diverse range of customers. The ideal candidate will have experience in customer-facing roles, demonstrating proficiency in leading technical discussions and managing projects. As a Microsoft security engineer, you will showcase thought leadership, leveraging your deep understanding of Microsoft security solutions to benefit our customers and partners. Your primary responsibility will involve delivering high-quality Microsoft security consulting services projects, fostering a culture of collaboration and knowledge sharing. Now, so you will drive high-quality Microsoft security project delivery by establishing relationships with customer stakeholders, execute a full delivery lifecycle from initial exploration to deployment and operationalization of Microsoft security solutions, hands-on deployment of Microsoft security solutions, including Microsoft 365 Defender, Sentinel, Defender for Cloud, and Azure Arc. Assess client environments and provide Microsoft security recommendations, support incident response efforts, develop deployment models and deliverable templates for Microsoft security projects, build and maintain high levels of customer relationships that are trusted and respected, continuously update skills and knowledge to stay informed about changing Microsoft 365 and Azure security capabilities. I can see this being a role that's entry level to security and coming from help desk, system administration type of role. The required qualifications are 2+ years of hands-on experience managing endpoints and cloud infrastructures, familiarly and understand with security solutions included in the Microsoft 365 E5 license, demonstrated deployment and administration experience with various Microsoft solutions, including Azure Active Directory, Intune, 365 Defender, AAD, competency with security monitoring related to Microsoft, strong skills in Intra, ability to follow established processes, yada. So this is the type of stuff that my client was doing in the sysadmin role, and it's how he's doing the security engineering role. Now, like I said, this would be considered an entry-level security role, but not necessarily entry-level to the point where you don't have any experience. Like I said, there are some security engineering roles where you don't have to know anything, but you could probably have a lot of projects and get in like that. But most of the times, you're going to have to know how to solve these problems. Now, what I like about Microsoft is that most of these Microsoft products, you can get your hands on and spin them up in your own environment and break stuff and figure stuff out and learn about different scenarios that you may face in the production environment, how to implement solutions and fixes for those. And that's what you got to display in an interview. But like I said, if you don't have any stories to talk about and tell how you implement these things and help your company or client, it's not going to work. And last but not least, number 5, a vulnerability management analyst, or vulnerability analyst as you call it. Salaries coming in around $80K, and typically this is an unsung role. It's not a sexy role most of the time people don't talk about it, but it's needed. Anytime there's a 0-day or exploit that could be affecting your company or a company that you're connected to, your VM team is going to be engaged with the threat intel team, and they're going to be looking across the environment to see if they're susceptible. And a lot of times when there are vulnerabilities, they got to do emergency changes. They're on bridge calls and they have to strategize, hey, how do we update all these systems and it doesn't affect production? When's the best time to do this? How can we do it? And I think it has a lot of overlap with security analysts and GRC analysts, and of course, even security engineering. And I'll probably say also what I do, incident response. Like all of us intertwine with each other. The reason why I put this role here is because I have a client that recently just landed a role. I think he's making like 58 an hour for a contract role doing this role. That's a lot of money. Sometimes you guys need to focus on the roles that aren't as sexy, but yet could be beneficial to your career long term if you just learn them and how to learn some of the tools that they use. In this role, you will lead vulnerability management, response efforts, continuously enhancing application security workflows and processes. You'll be at the forefront of configuring and running vulnerability scans, assessing and prioritizing vulnerabilities, and coordinating with application teams to ensure robust security practices. Your expertise will be crucial in communicating risk to stakeholders, remediating vulnerabilities, and staying updated on the latest cybersecurity developments. If you're passionate about application security and eager to make a significant impact, we invite you to bring your skills and dedication to our team. Here are your responsibilities. Lead vulnerability management response efforts and events. Continuously build and implement improvements to application security workflows and processes, including vulnerability scanning, assessment, prioritization, and tracking remediation. Develop new and update existing application vulnerability management policies, procedures, runbooks, and other documentation. Configure and run vulnerability scans of application using industry standard tools. Coordinate with application teams on scanning and application security practices, providing governance, oversight, and technical expertise. Remain up to date on cybersecurity news and emerging vulnerabilities. Assess and prioritize vulnerabilities for impact and cyber risks. Communicate vulnerability statuses and associated risks to stakeholders and leadership. Coordinate with stakeholders to remediate vulnerabilities. Proper escalation. Keep abreast of current developments in application security and vulnerability management. Perform validation that vulnerabilities have been remediated, mitigated, working with other teams as required. Collect, analyze. It's a lot. It's a lot. But look, required education experience. You need a bachelor's degree with a minimum of 2 years, cyber, application development, or other related IT experience. Or if you got associates, you need more experience. And if you got a high school diploma, you need about 5 years experience. So at least they all reward you for getting a degree. And that's why I say, get a degree. Relevant work experience is required. So understanding industry standard policies, processes, and procedures covering incident, problem, and change management. Understanding OWASP top 10. Proficiency in reading and understanding code across common web languages, frameworks, JavaScript, C#, Angular, .NET. Familiarity with security coding practices, previous experience in application scanning. I'm not going to read all this. It's a lot. It's a lot. But like I said, it's a whole bunch of stuff. But like I said, I don't think on the day-to-day you're going to definitely be living like that. But like I said, this is another entry-level role, and you saw the salary up here, $80K to $105. And like I said, my client got the 58 an hour. That's remote. So that's a little bit more than an entry level. A lot of you are doing a lot of stuff at work, but it's under the guise of some other IT role. And that's why you don't understand why you should be getting paid more and why you're underpaid. And it takes you coming to me for me to decipher all your skills and saying, you've been doing this, this, and this, and you deserve to be making this, not what you're making. We talked about tier 1 SOC analyst, junior security analyst, GRC analysts, junior security engineers, and vulnerability analysts. All major roles that are playing a factor in getting into cybersecurity in 2025, their salaries, and why they're needed. And if you need help with that, just tap in with me. I got some stuff in the works. I can show you how to roadmap this thing and how to build the skills if you're a person in a non-traditional tech background to showcase you understand and have an aptitude of the job that you're doing. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you think I left something off, please comment down below and let's have a discussion in the comments. But until next time, I'm out. Peace.